Steam Next Fest is pretty great, but there's a lot of game demos and only a week to play them. What's the best way to take advantage of your time during Next Fest? Let's get into it. I'm going to split up this advice into a couple different parts. First, we're going to talk about the time leading up to Next Fest, where you need to figure out what you want to try and what you want to avoid. Your plan for day one of Next Fest. Your advice for playing the games that you've picked out. What to do when you're getting near the end of the week. And then for advice for what you need to do after Next Fest finishes. After that, you should be in a pretty good place to know what to do, why you want to do it, and take the best advantage of time. One useful thing to figure out about Next Fest is when it's happening. So in 2025, Next Fest is going to probably have 3 different editions. There's a February edition that starts February 24th and ends March 3rd. There's a June edition that happens from June 9th to 16th, and there will probably be one in October, but I don't think they've officially announced the times yet. As far as your research for games is concerned, I would suggest 3 different places. Those places are Blue Sky, unfortunately Twitter, and a place called Playtester. In the weeks that are leading up to Next Fest, you're going to have people that are going to start announcing that their game is going to be available. As far as I can tell, this starts to happen about 2 weeks before. The way that development cycles work, you never really know until you know. So the closer that you look, the more accurate the information is going to be. The tags that I've tended to look for are Steam Next Fest and Next Fest in Twitter as well as in Blue Sky. Unfortunately, it looks like some indie games are only on Twitter still, so you're going to get different information on one versus the other. That's just a reality of the splintering nature of social media nowadays. If you're further away than 2 weeks from Steam Next Fest, I'd recommend checking out playtester.io. It doesn't have a specific Steam Next Fest tag or anything, but it's a place where game developers put their different game demos as available for playing or for playtesting. And in addition to just having an explore page that shows different games based on the most recent post. So the most recent demo that was announced is Stomping Grounds an hour ago. You can figure out how to join the playtest from there or try to direct install it on Steam. Another thing that you can do is you can look at the categories, and I think this is where a lot of the value comes from. Because if you know you're only going to be playing comedy games or that sort of thing, you can filter out those tags much easier on Playtester before Steam Next Fest's tags in Steam's own app become available. Now, speaking of tags, this kind of goes into my next point, which is figuring out what you want to try. Now, there's no way that you're going to try all of the games in such a short period of time, so it can be nice to whittle it down to the things that you think that you're going to enjoy the most, or the things that you can figure the most out about in that limited period of time. So for me, one of the groups that I like to figure out is racing. I think that in racing games, it's pretty easy to figure out a vibe of a game and whether or not I like the gameplay and the physics and the gameplay loop pretty easily. Similarly, I really like sports games because again, sports games have the ability to kind of show off their core gameplay loop pretty quickly, and I can figure out whether or not this is a game that I'm really into. Speaking of which, this Ollie Frog Toad Skater that was just announced, I sincerely hope is going to be in Next Fest because it looks like a cozy, amazing time. One thing you'll notice is that Playtester doesn't have as many categories as Steam will during Next Fest. This is just a good place to look for as you're leading up to it, and a good way to kind of familiarize yourself with what types of games might be things that you're looking for, like full controller support, or lo-fi, or something cozy. If you're trying to figure out just the general things, it's a place like Playtester is going to show the tags that developers are uploading in order to describe their games. That can be very helpful. The other thing about tags is you can find things that are relatively specific to your likes. One of the things that I've really enjoyed is I've tried almost all of the winter skiing titles. I think there have been like 3 in the last year that have been released that I've tried in Next Fests, and I've enjoyed kind of all of them. The other thing about tags is it brings up to my next point is what do you want to avoid? So I am not a spooky or horror fan, so I pretty much avoid everything with that tag unless I am incredibly motivated by some other reason. Similarly, I don't usually do FPSs and RPGs. So every once in a while I'll RPG, but it's usually a vibe-based decision at that point. I tend to avoid esports because they're not my cup of tea. 4X titles I think are very hard to get a hold of, but maybe that's just my tolerance to minutia and multiple variable gaming. Similarly, VR is not the thing that I'm most excited about right now, so I tend to avoid demos in that category. Before day one of Steam Fest, check and see if any of the games that you've been doing research on already have demos available. Some demos will only become available day one of the fest, but some demos are going to be downloadable even beforehand. I found this out as a pleasant surprise with Ollie Frog Toad Skater, as well as Run Dungeon Quest. This brings me to the day one advice. I'm recording this before Steam Next Fest has officially started, but on the Steam page, you are going to find some sort of fest link with information about the different demos that are available. This will give you the ability to find and download your games. I recommend downloading as many as you can, or as many as you feel comfortable within playing. No harm, no foul if you download a demo and you don't get to play it. So I try to download roughly 1.5 to 2 times as many demos as I plan on playing. Once I've got my list of demos, I like to, in addition to having them installed in Steam, I like to have them in some sort of list, whether it's a sheet of paper or a spreadsheet. Whatever you want to do, whatever will work is the best option for you there. One of the things that's recently happened with Steam as well is they have, in addition to the normal recommendations queue, the Steam Next Fest has its own demo recommendations queue. I don't have any captured footage of it, but it is pretty cool, so I'd recommend that. And definitely check that out. Some of the things that you're going to want to look for when you're checking out those demos, check out the top level genres, check out very specific genres, as Steam usually gives you a wide array of tags that you can get into. Just look at the visuals and viewpoint, the themes and moods. Just see if this is a game that you want to check out for the vibe, for the visuals, for the gameplay. Is there something interesting in here that might pique your interest and make you want to play a little bit to find out more? Okay, you've installed some games, you've got some demos, you've got your list. What to do next? Let's play some games. So, you're playing a game. What are some things you want to keep in mind when you're playing a demo? You want to get the vibe. You want to figure out the controls. Are they relatively straightforward, or are they something that take a little bit of getting used to? Is this game making itself easy to love, or is it kind of punishing you for no particular reason? I mean, some of these are games in progress, and there are still some rough edges, so don't be overly harsh, but just see if this is the sort of thing that you could see yourself loving and enjoying at some point in the future. I mean, the big thing about game demos is don't forget to have fun. If you're having fun, note it, because, sometimes a good time can be hard to find. Figure out if you want to keep playing this game while you're playing it. Usually game demos will sometimes have a decreased scope in order to give you a feel of the game, but not necessarily the whole game. Figure out if this game is asking you to do more and you feel like you want to do it, or if you're kind of done. The next thing you can do is just lather, rinse, repeat. Go to your next game, or if you want, write down the thoughts that you have about that game while it's still fresh in your mind, so that you can remember the feelings that you had, without kind of having them lost into the ether once you are, especially if you're playing a big long list of games. You don't want to forget a cool experience that you had kind of halfway through if it got ruined by the feelings of crashes or instability that happened in games around it, that sort of thing. As time goes on and you play games, you're going to start getting near the end of the week, and you're going to find yourself needing to kind of prioritize based on what you've played. Sometimes you'll have tons of games that you want to play and not enough time, and that's okay. Like, we're humans. Sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomach as far as our appetites for games and game demos are concerned. Don't beat yourself up about it. Again, when you're playing these demos, especially if they're small ones, you're doing a favor to the dev. Obviously you want to be able to do that, but it's a kindness that you're doing, and it's you're not getting remunerated for your experience with the game. You're just trying to see if it's something that you want to pay money to them at some point in the future. Also, when you're getting near the end of the games list, figure out if there's any games that are showing up on the overall leaderboards that are surprises that weren't on your original list but are starting to seem more interesting now that more people are paying attention to them. Try to finish up strong and just do what you can. Another reminder is that if you do enjoy a game, make sure to go to the Steam page and put them on your wish list. Wish lists are a good way for developers to understand that people are enjoying the game, and depending on the number of people that have wish listed the game, I believe that does help determine Steam placement and that sort of thing. So there can be an economic benefit for indie developers if you choose to wish list their games. So Next Fest is over. What to do now? First, go through your list. Uninstall the experiments and the things that you weren't too excited about. Maybe keep 1 or 2 gems if the demo is still valid. Some demos are only available during the week of Next Fest, and they immediately become invalid and they get taken away afterwards. Other demos stay available and playable for an indefinite period of time. Figuring out which one of those the demos that you've installed belong to in the week following Next Fest is very useful. Also, check out the release dates for your favorite demos and make plans on whether they are an immediate buy or wait for a coupon, wait for a sale type item. If you really enjoyed some hidden gems, make sure to tell people about them. Many indie devs need your help to get more folks to see their games, as marketing an indie game in this environment is one of the hardest things to do. Your voice and your opinions as a gamer who's enjoyed this demo are very valuable to other people that might be looking for this game, so don't be bashful. Speaking of which, demos that I still have installed from previous Next Fest include Snow Ultimate Freeriding, Lonely Mountain Snow Riders. Bang Average Football was a demo that I looked at it during Next Fest and purchased the full version. I believe that happened for Enshrouded as well. Honestly, a lot of the games that I play, a fair percentage of them that I play often are plays that I started just by giving a try during a Next Fest. I hope that you can use these tips and tricks to find some cool games, have some fun, and unearth some indie gems that badly need some more love. Happy gaming. Later.